Hey guys, welcome back to the Basics series. Today we're going to go over foundation and I'm really excited to share all my tips and tricks with you guys on the base of my face. So we're going to go through different kinds of foundation, how to choose your shade, and so much more. So if you're interested in getting your skin right, then keep on watching. Make sure that you like this video if you liked it. Make sure to leave me a comment below of things that you want to see out of the Basics series down below. And also make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that way you are notified every time that I post so you can get some more of these basic tips. Alright, so let's get started. As far as my base before I lay down my foundation, primer is important, especially if you're going to be out of the house for a long period of time and you want your makeup to last. Now, there are two different primers that I use depending on the weather outside and all that stuff. I live in Miami, so it's kind of hot. So I do use Angel Veil by NYX if I want more of like a mattifying base. And if I'm looking for something a little bit more dewy, I use the Pro Filt'r primer by Fenty Beauty. I find that more moisturizing primers are really good if you have dry skin. And if you have more oily skin, then it's good to use something that's a little bit more mattifying. So that is something to note depending on what kind of skin you have. So me personally, I do get oily around my T-zone. So I am going to go in with the Angel Veil and I'm just going to go in around the places where I get oily, which is like around my nose, around my mouth, and down the center of my forehead. And I'm just going to like rub that in. Now also something to pay attention to with your primer and your foundation is the ingredients. There are different ingredients in different foundations and primers that can have certain effects on your skin. If you have oily skin, then it is good to stick with something that is water-based. And usually the best way for you to tell is based on the ingredients that are in the foundation and the primer. Usually the first two that are listed will kind of give you an idea of exactly what it's based out of. If it just says water and the rest of the ingredients, then that means that it's a water-based primer or foundation. But if it has anything with the words sil, S-I-L, or cone, like ending in C-O-N-E, that means that it's based out of like a silicone. So water-based foundations are really good for people who have oily skin because oil is hydrophobic. So it basically, the water blocks the oil from coming through and showing in your skin, and that's what makes you look oily throughout the day. And anything that's based out of silicone is really good for like evening out textures. If you have pores, anything like that, and you're trying to look flawless, then silicone is really great. And today, what I'm using for my primer, which is the Angel Veil, that's based out of silicone, and so is the foundation that I'll be using today, which is the Infallible Pro Glow by L'Oreal. It's always good to have your primer and your foundation based out of the same foundation, which today for me, silicone, because I like to look flawless. Now, before I actually like apply the foundation that I'm going to use today on my skin, I just wanted to go through some other formats that foundation comes in, just so that you're aware of what their purposes are and who they might be good for. So one of the foundations that I like to use is the Studio Fix by MAC, and this is a powder foundation. This is really good if you have like oily skin and you're trying not to look super dewy by the end of the day. I personally use this for days that I want to make sure that I look extra matte. As far as liquid foundations, if I want something that looks very like soft matte, you know, like a nice satin finish, I usually turn to my Fenty Beauty, which is the Pro Filt'r foundation. That one's really good. And also, I don't know if you guys change colors, whether it's summer or winter, but I do. So this definitely I would say is my summer shade. So that is something also to keep in mind, is that it is good to have a range of foundations that kind of fit you for the different seasons. If you like to go tanning and stuff, make sure that you match. So this one is the NARS Natural Radiant Longwear foundation, and I really like the finish of this one as well. And also another format that foundation comes in that people don't really talk about is Airbrush. And I know that it kind of seems intimidating because you gotta like spray this on your face, but me personally, I just take this, spray it on a brush, make sure that it's a really dense brush, and then I just use the brush to apply it. This one is from Sephora and it's really affordable. It's under 30 bucks. And then there's another one out there, Dior. If you have that kind of coin and you're looking for something that's really nice, I know that that one works really nice as well. But I love this one. It's really good. So there are many ways to apply your foundation. I'm going to do this side with a brush and then this side with a beauty blender, just so you guys can kind of see the difference. For me personally, I don't really have like a preference. It's just whatever is close to me. But what I will say is that when you're going to match your foundation to your skin, there are a couple tips and tricks that I use in the store to make sure that I pick up the right shade. The first one is I like to test my foundations like right here against my chin. And also I don't go off of when I initially put the foundation down. I kind of just like eyeball it just to try a couple shades right here and see which one might work for me. But other than that, I have to make sure that I walk around the store. I at least give it like 20 minutes because a lot of times foundations will oxidize and they'll change up on you, and that's not good. Also, make sure that you blend down to your neck so that when you're out, it doesn't look like you're wearing a mask, because it happens and it'll look crazy. I also make sure that I kind of like blend into like my tragus at least. I know it's like a lot, especially if you have a lot of earrings like me. Like if you just put your foundation all over your ear. I know people like to do that, but I don't like cleaning out my entire ear, especially with all these earrings. So at least to your tragus. All right, so this side is down with the brush. So now I'm gonna get started on the other side. And another tip is when you're matching your foundation, it is very important to know whether you are cool tone, warm tone, or neutral. Now, a lot of the times, people that are of the lighter complexion are cool tone. That's most of the time. That doesn't mean that just because you're lighter skin that you're cool tone. Also, people of darker complexions typically are warmer tone. But like I said, go out there, try out some foundations. Another cool way to figure out whether you're cool, warm, or neutral is looking at the veins, especially like right here in your wrist. If you see that you are showing that they're like green, that means that your skin is more warm tone. And if you look at the veins in your wrist and you're more blue, then that means that you are probably cool tone. If you're looking and you're seeing like bluish green, then that means that you're more neutral. I'm taking this beauty blender. It's kind of damp. This one is from Sonia Kashuk, and I'm not even gonna lie, this is my first time using it and I kind of like it so far. It's pretty, it's like huge. Okay, so now the beauty blender side is done as well. And what I will say is that there's pros and cons to both. The brush side, I definitely have more coverage. The beauty blender side, I'm noticing that my pores look smaller, like the foundation's like actually like pressed into my pores. As far as the brush side having more coverage, I will say that it's probably because the sponge is soaking up the product and it's not distributing it as well as like a dense foundation brush. So that is something to note. I would say if you're looking for a fuller coverage overall with your foundation, then use the brush. And if you're looking for more like flawless application and less pores, then I would say use the beauty blender. So now that everything is down, just to make sure that we're all even over here, I'm gonna take the bottom side of the blender and I'm just gonna pat the rest of my face, make sure that everything is even. All right guys, so this is pretty much it. These are my tips and tricks to get flawless foundation. I hope that you learned something watching this video, and if you liked it, make sure that you like it, and also subscribe to my channel for more. Hit the notification bell. We're gonna be doing another video in this series. The next step is gonna be concealer. Also, make sure that you share this video. If you have a girl in your office and you know her foundation don't ever match with her neck, put it in the work group chat, because I know you have one. Just share it. Thank you again so much for watching. I love you guys. I'll see you soon. What are you still doing here? There's other videos for you to watch from my channel. The top one here is gonna be the next part of the series. If it's already out yet, I'll go ahead and link it right here and you can click it. If it's not there, that means that it's not out yet, and you should subscribe so that you can see when it comes out. The bottom video is gonna be the video that came before this, so we can get you caught up so that you know what's really going on, okay? What are you waiting for? Go grab a snack and watch the next video. I'm waiting.